And we're live here. Welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal, and I'm joined by Amelie McLain, the little pale girl of Terrifier 2. It's very cool to have you here.
Hey everyone, I'm so excited.
Yeah. So I was at Fright Fest where you guys premiered, which was really exciting. And then I got to see it again in Boston when you had the theatrical run. And so first of all, congratulations on the movie. It's doing very well. How has things changed for you after you being in Terrifier 2?
Well, the amount of fan support is incredible. I love seeing all the different fan art, all the different tattoos and the cosplay and everything. That was a ginormous piece of it. And I definitely did not expect Terrifier 2 to blow up like it did. I mean, I filmed this back in 2019, not knowing what to expect, and we just waited and waited, and like COVID and everything delayed it. So all of a sudden it just comes out and it just goes crazy. It just blows up, and I was not expecting that at all. But I'm so happy.
Yeah, even the first movie, because I had Damien and David on before it really started to get a buzz, because I really liked Terrifier, and then it got a big buzz and was big. But Terrifier 2, as theatrical release, and then originally it's just gonna be like 3 days, and then it keeps going, and it's made over $10 million, and it's I think it's really good for anyone who makes independent film, because you're like, hey, these movies can play theatrically.
Yeah, exactly.
So how did you get the role as the little pale girl?
Well, my mom originally got me the audition, and I auditioned for it by like making like creepy faces in the mirror, and I had a big lollipop, and I just went, I'll edit, and we submitted it to Damien. And about a week later, he emailed back and he was like, we really love you for this role. Would you like to have the role? And my mom went and told me. And honestly, at first, I was a little bit like not doubtful, but I was like, this is a lie, because I had to tease up my hair, and my mom told me that I would have to like wear these sclera contacts that covered my whole eyes, and like all this makeup and everything. And I took the role, and on the first day, I was a little nervous to meet David, because he's a pretty creepy clown.
Yeah,
But
right, on in film, yeah.
yeah, he's so sweet though. He's like the opposite of his character, which is so funny. But I'm so glad I took the role, because this has just been a blast to film and
Yeah.
everything.
Now, had you seen Terrifier before you sent in the scary faces?
No, I went in just like not knowing anything. I just kind of went at it.
Yeah. I saw like on the Q&A after the movie, when they played it in the theaters, they have like a Q&A with David and Damien. And Damien said like he changed the character a little bit once he saw your faces. I don't think originally it was going to be like a mini Art the Clown.
Yeah, I think, at first I kind of, took the direction that Damien had and stuff, but then once we all got to know each other a little better, we kind of started to improv a little bit, kind of change it for ourselves. And even with me, I kind of copied off of David at first and kind of mimicked him, but then the farther we got along, I kind of tried to change the character for myself a little bit, which was kind of cool.
Yeah. So did the character itself expand from like the original script?
Yeah, especially in like the laundromat scene, that whole patty cake wasn't even like, we weren't even supposed to do that. Damien was just like, hey, you guys, just improv, just do a little something. And we came up with the whole patty cake that was actually not even supposed to be in the movie, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when actually still makes a cut.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you're intimidated at first, you're going to meet Art the Clown, and then you meet him and you see David's a nice guy. So things like that, the patty cake, did you guys have like chemistry right away?
Yeah, we really clicked right away. And even like on set when we weren't filming things, we would just hang out, and I would be playing my iPad and he'd be watching me. I have so many fun photos of us together, and honestly, I don't think anybody else would have been better for me to work with than David. He wants nothing but the best for me.
Mhm. Yeah, he really brings the character to life, and it's a character that has no dialogue, which
Exactly.
so it's a lot of it's all of physical acting.
Yeah, that's one of the harder things. It is all physical acting, like you said.
So I know you're an actor, but had you ever done anything? I assume you haven't done anything like this role before, because it's a very unique role.
Yeah, this was my second movie. My first one is a horror. But I wasn't the creepy clown in it. I was
Right.
just one of the one of the main characters, the daughter. But this one, like, we really played around with like prosthetics and everything. So no, I hadn't done anything like this at all.
Yeah. What was that experience like, doing the makeup, the prosthetics, the eyes?
Yeah, we had to sit in that. I had to sit in the chair for about 3 hours getting my makeup on and 3 hours getting it off. And there's a lot of little tiny things that you might not notice, which is kind of cool. It was very like Damien put in a lot of effort to try to add these little small things. Like throughout the movie, I have a ton of like hair on my arms, which you might not notice originally. And I actually, in some of the scenes, I have teeth on my fingers, which
Oh,
is kind of,
really? That's pretty
yeah,
wild. Yeah.
yeah. There's tons of little tiny things that, took a while to do, but really paid off in the end.
Do little things like that, as an actor, kind of add to your acting? Like, even if as a viewer we might not notice that at first, but little, like, knowing that your character's so strange, as the hair, as the teeth on the fingers, does that kind of help you act like this weird? Because it's not even like a human, really.
Yeah, honestly, when I first saw myself in the mirror after getting myself all
Yeah.
done for the first time, that was really what, made me little pale girl. So yeah, definitely all those little tiny things make me the creepy girl I
Yeah.
am.
Now, did you end up watching the original Terrifier before filming Terrifier 2?
No.
Oh, you still haven't seen it?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Well, there's 2019. I'm not sure. Were you allowed to watch Terrifier? It's a pretty
Yeah,
graphic movie.
I was about 9, 10, so I didn't watch it, but I have seen Terrifier 2
Oh,
multiple times.
okay. All
And
right.
it's so good. I love it.
Yeah. When you watch a movie you're in, can you see it as a movie, or do you kind of see it like the memories of making the movie?
I see it as the memories making the
Yeah.
movie because there's just little small things in there that are like, oh, this happened, like the mashed potatoes that were
Yeah.
like smeared on the mom's face and like shoved in her face. A funny story about that is behind the scenes, it was like really cold in New York and upstate New York. And I was looking at like the craft station with all the food, and I saw these mashed potatoes, and my mom made them for me, and I ate them. And then Damien comes in, he's like, "Where'd the props go?" And we're like, "What?" He's like, "Where did the mashed potatoes go? Those were the props." And we just look at each other, and we weren't going to tell him, but we finally admitted to it. We ate the mashed potatoes. So now every time I see that, I'm like, ooh, those are the ones I ate. So then Damon had to go get more, but he was sweet about it.
How about, you mentioned David, but what was Damien like the first time you meet him?
Damien was so sweet. He was so welcoming, and
Mhm.
it was cool the first time I came there. They did like a cast of my face. So that was like a pretty long process, but he talked me through it, and he was always there for like anything I needed. He's such a sweet guy too.
Yeah. You said the makeup like 3 hours to put on and take off. Is it worse getting it put on, or having it taken off?
That's a good question. Um, well, getting it taken off because they would tease my hair all up, but then they would need to brush it out. So that
Right.
that was kind of that it didn't hurt, but it was like a long process to get all that floof back down.
Yeah.
But it was also kind of hard to like get my makeup done because I have like I don't even know what to call it, like these black little like points right under
Right.
my
Like a
eye.
clown kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of some almost smeared. So
Mhm.
we had to take like not alcohol, it was like some sort of alcohol substance and like spray it and make it kind of like smear down my face, which was kind of funny because I like breathed it in. It was like alcohol, but yeah, I think both of the processes of putting it on and off were about the same,
Yeah.
difficult.
I have problems with like putting contact. I don't wear contacts, but I would have a problem putting them in. I think I had LASIK surgery, and even that was weird. But what that process of getting the contacts in, is that difficult, or do you get used to it?
Yeah, that was pretty difficult. It definitely, sometimes it would pop in like a minute, and sometimes it would take 10. It really just depended. And the funny thing is, on some of the scenes, I couldn't even see out of the
Oh
contacts.
yeah.
I would need to be like guided around so I wouldn't trip and fall, like something like I couldn't even see out of. So that was a pretty crazy process too.
So you mentioned it was filmed in 2019, so it's right before COVID and the shutdown. So how does that affect making the movie?
Well, I mean, I'm from North Carolina,
Mhm.
so we had to fly up and back New
Right.
York, New Jersey, Philadelphia. So, the funny thing was we were like all in the subways, the airplanes, right before everything shut down. And it's a miracle I didn't catch COVID. But
Yeah.
that was probably a crazy part of it too, was just, getting up there and back every time, because I would fly down to film a scene and then I'd come back, and then a, a few weeks later I would fly down to film another scene. So that was like crazy process with like all the transportation and stuff.
Yeah, and I saw on the Q&A after the movie, they said like the real long death scene where the woman is slowly killed over a long
Yeah.
period of time, like that expanded because of COVID. They had like time to, just keep doing adding stuff. So was there any scenes with you that just expanded because like you had time? Let's make this let's add some stuff to this.
I don't think so. I think all the scenes we filmed just made the movie. But, you know, we did, some of them maybe lasted a little bit longer because we made up more things that kind of elongate the scenes, like you were saying with the big kill scene. They kind of, lasted a little longer because we were like improving and stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. Here's some questions in the chat room. Fuzzball Productions. What was your favorite scene to shoot?
Oh, that's a good question. I really liked the possum scene because it was so fun to like play with the guts of the possum. And me and David had like such a good time just going at it. And it was kind of cool to like eat the guts because they were a mixture of like gelatin and strawberry sauce. So that was kind of fun to play around with. And that was a super fun scene to film.
Yeah. Kind of on the line there. What's like the vibe on the set when you're filming like a death or a kill or something that would be horrific when we're watching it, but when you're actually filming it, what is everyone like?
Well, the whole cast, we kind of play around, we kind of joke around. It's not something so serious.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I was exposed to a lot of the gore, like
Mhm.
in the laundromat scene, the guy that has the pole stuck through his
Right.
head. He was
Yeah.
just walking around with a pole stuck through his head, and I was seeing all that, and I would eat lunch right next to the mom with the mashed potatoes on her face. That was like a mannequin or something, and I would
Yeah.
just eat next to it. So I was exposed to a lot of that, but we were kind of used to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now what's the experience like for your mom to watch you in a horror movie?
Yeah, I think she likes it. I
Uh-huh.
mean, she's definitely proud of me, but
Yeah.
might be crazy to see some of that. But I think she's very proud of me. I think
Yeah.
she's
It's probably easier for you that you're the killer as opposed to being one of the victims. That might be harder to
yes,
watch.
that would be hard for her to watch. I
Yeah.
agree with you on that one.
Uh, are you planning to ever wear the makeup? I guess it'd be a long process, but for like a Halloween or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to a ton of like horror conventions, and
Right.
hopefully
That'd be
I'll,
great photo ops.
yeah, get my makeup done and my hair teased up and stuff there some of the time. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
seeing everyone at the
Have you
convention.
done any of the conventions yet?
No, my first one's in January.
Oh, very exciting.
Yes, I'm excited.
Which one's that?
What's it called? Days of the Dead.
Oh, Days of the Dead. All right, cool. There's
I'm
one in Charlotte, I think in
really,
February is Mad Monster.
ooh, I might need to check that one out too.
Yeah.
That's
I know
cool.
who runs it. I'll let them know if you'd be interested.
Well, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very fun I think you have a good time
That
at the
sounds,
convention.
yeah.
Yeah. So what was the first time you saw the movie? Now, did you see it before, like, before they played it at the theaters? Did you get like a link to watch it?
I saw it, the first time I saw it was at the premiere in New York City.
Oh,
That
okay.
was fun because I got to watch it with the whole cast. and crew and everything. And then at the end, we all went down and like talked about the movie and got this big round of applause. So that was pretty fun to, see it for the first time there.
So obviously, your scenes that you're in because you were there filming them, but, watching the whole movie put together with all the scenes that, you weren't there for.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was not expecting that because, I didn't really see all the scenes filmed. So, especially the big kill scene in the bedroom, that was
Yeah.
like, that was big. I feel
It's
like
very
it kind of
long and
nowhere. Like she was just giving him some Halloween candy, and then he's in her bedroom and she's getting killed. That was crazy. And then, I honestly didn't really know where the scene with me picking up his head was gonna like end up. So when I saw like that was kind of the last scene, it kind of ended with me, picking up the head and walking out. So that was kind of cool to see. That was kind of the ending.
Yeah. You mentioned, fan art and stuff. Well, what are some of the ones that would stand out to you that either people sent you or you've seen online?
I love everything, but especially the tattoos. Those stand out to me because I was not expecting that. Like just the thought of like someone having my face tattooed
That's
on
crazy.
that's crazy. So I definitely love to see more of those. If anyone's willing to get a little pale girl on the body, those were definitely the ones that stood out. And I also love seeing all the little kids dressing up as little pale girl, all the little babies and toddlers and kids. That's super fun to see too.
Yeah. I don't want you to give this away, but did Damien tell you like more of the backstory of Pale Girl when you're making the movie or before you make the movie?
There's so much like debate about it. And honestly, I don't even really know what the correct backstory is because I guess I have my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know what I think actually. I don't know. I've seen so many different theories that I won't even think about. I love like spending my time reading all of those. So me and Damien didn't really discuss that a lot.
Mm-hmm. But you have your own, and then you see. So, Aaron, some of the ones that stand out to you? Do you remember like ones you've read online?
Well, it's cool hearing about how Art is their dad.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are saying that, which is pretty cool. And I also like the one about me being like at the fair and then the newspaper and stuff. That one was pretty cool. Yeah, definitely those ones. It makes me very curious to think about like Art being their dad because he was in like the sketchbook and all of that. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm not very sure.
Well, that's interesting too, because I think a lot of people think of the movie. People even called it now like the Uber splatter, or they come up with a new term for the movie. But there's more to the movie too. There is it makes you think like of the backstory of everybody. It isn't just cool kills.
Yeah, I really like the whole family concept with Jonathan, Sienna, and their mom. I know they have a really close bond and everything. So that's cool that it's not just like a ton of gore. There's a little bit of a little backstory.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's a much more story in this one than in the first one, which I like the first one too. But
yeah.
Yeah. Manuel, you kind of went over this, but I just want to mention him. He asked about how much information you were given on what Pale Girl is. And do you have any idea of what her motives are?
I think she's Art's little sidekick. She's going to do whatever Art's going to do. I think they're like twins. So if Art is going to go kill someone, she's right behind him. Especially the scene in the car where she's mimicking Jonathan's voice on the call to Sienna. I definitely think Art was like, go call Sienna. And so she picked up the phone. She started doing it. She's Art's little sidekick.
Yeah. Evan, he says, looking forward to Terrifier 3. Do you have any idea of if there will be a Terrifier 3 and if you will be involved?
I can't say anything. I don't know. I can't say, but I would definitely love to be in it and love to see where Little Pale Girl's story is going to go because like we were talking about earlier, there's a ton of like opinions on that. So that'd be a pretty cool third part.
I think I think the odds are good since the last one has done very well, and yeah.
Yeah, I would love to be in that too.
Yeah, and your character is very popular. When I mentioned you were on, a lot of people said you were their favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, I love hearing that because I've all the cast and crew put in a ton of work in this movie. So hearing that, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, of course. How about Lauren? Lauren, who plays Sienna, the hero of the movie.
Yeah, she embodied her character so well, and I look up to her not only as an actress but like also as a person. Like when she would walk in the room, you know, she would just like make the room light up, and her personality is like unmatched. It's so fun to talk with her on set and everything. I look up to her. She's a very big inspiration of mine.
Yeah, and I'm glad her character is popular too, because it's fun to have cool villains, but it's nice when a movie also has a protagonist that people can get behind.
Yeah, I was rooting for her the whole way through. I'm glad she made it to the end.
Yeah. Let's see. Liam's Lisa Sheets. She just wants to know that you were amazing to watch.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
A lot of people ask the same stuff, but very nice that they're here.
Yes.
Oh, Manuel also wants to know, were there any CG done to your eyes, or were they all practical?
Yes, there was one scene that CG was done to my eyes. I think it was the one, like in the car where her eyes are like glowing. Oh, and also the one at the end when I pick up his head. That I'm pretty sure that was CG where they started glowing. So those two scenes were CG.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were in a previous horror movie, so are you a horror movie fan?
I haven't seen a lot of horror movies, to be honest. I like watching myself in horror. That's pretty cool because, and especially all my friends too, they don't really expect that. So when they see it, they're like, whoa, this is like very different than your regular personality. So that's cool to kind of see.
Yeah, well, that's good. If they thought, well, wow, you're exactly like you are in real life in this movie, I might be a little afraid, but yeah. How about that though? Like your friends, I assume you go to I don't know if maybe you're homeschooled, but I assume you go to school. What's that been like? Your friends, seeing in this movie?
Yeah, I go to school and all my friends come up to me and tell me how such a great job I did, and even some of my teachers are going to see it, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
My science teacher, she loves horror, so she's gonna go see it, and yeah, it's so cool to hear everybody talk about me. It's a very, very good conversation starter with people I don't know very well. I'm in a horror movie, Terrifier 2, and some people know it. Like some people know of the movie without me even like saying I'm in it.
Yeah, it's I watch a lot of independent horror movies, but it's become mainstream. Even like people like Stephen King have been talking about it. When you read stuff like that, obviously it has to be a good feeling, but is that surprising, or what's that feeling like when you see, people, huge names like Stephen King talking about it?
Yeah, that's shocking to me, especially when he like tweeted that on Twitter. I was like freaking out. That I did not expect it to, get that popular, that the Stephen King has recognized Terrifier 2 and complimented it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because he's known for some horror stories himself.
Yeah, definitely.
So how many times have you seen it with an audience? I know you were at the premiere in New York.
I've seen it 3 times, I think. One at the premiere, one with my grandma and
Oh,
her
really? That's pretty wild.
Kind of crazy. They were all like hiding behind their blankets, and then I saw it once with a few of my friends.
Yes. What's that experience like? Not just it's your movie, but then you hear the audience, and horror movies in particular, there's a lot of interaction. I think a lot of people are laughing at different scenes and maybe gasping at some scenes.
Yeah, I laughed at a ton of the scenes that maybe I wasn't supposed to. I laughed at the mashed potatoes scene. That was pretty funny. Maybe it was just because it brought back memories to me, but it was also funny hearing the people in the audience laughing at the moments that they thought were funny because, everybody thinks different things, and that's pretty cool to see.
Now there's, there was reports that some people at different screenings have passed out or vomited. When you read that, what goes through your mind?
I think that's crazy. That's very, very crazy because, like, my experience on set, nothing ever made me feel that way. So the fact that people are like passing out and vomiting is crazy. I mean, I want to make sure they're safe. They don't
Right.
feel
Yeah.
bad, but I think that's like,
It speaks highly of the movie, but at the same time, yeah, you want everyone safe.
no, yeah.
The only I think maybe since it's been doing well at the theaters, maybe some people go in who aren't necessarily familiar with horror, and maybe it's a little shocking for them.
Yeah, in my theater, like a ton of people walked out halfway through because they just couldn't take it anymore. they didn't know what they were getting into.
Let's see. Manuel, thanks, and some super chat. He says, "Great interview so far." Lisa Sheets, any scenes that you had trouble watching?
I don't think there were any scenes I had. I mean, I kind of had trouble watching the kill scene, especially when like he like carved her scalp off. That was
Yeah.
kind of weird, and seeing the blood out.
Yeah.
I had a scene I had trouble filming. It was the scene in the car where like we were saying earlier, where I was like mimicking Jonathan's voice. That was like a very chaotic scene because this is like a little funny thing. On the outside of the car, like the whole crew was like shaking the car to make it look like it was bumping down the road. So I was trying to like say my lines while everybody's like shaking the car from the outside. So that was a pretty chaotic scene, but it was fun to film too. And my mom was in the back of the car reading out Sienna's lines so we could have like, a connection. So that was like, there was so many things going on at once in that scene.
Manuel brings up about the costume, which you plan on doing at some point, but he thinks you and David both in costume would be a great photo op.
I know. I love our costumes because they're so similar, but I really love my dress with the puffy sleeves and everything. We definitely should do that.
Yeah. Do you have any merchandise from the movie yourself?
I have these super cool pins from
nice.
One of the guy that made my contact lenses. I'm not sure what's his name. Like, where can you get them? They're super cool. Yeah, these Terrifier pins, and they have little Pilgrim art on them, which is super
nice.
cool. I have a few of those that I really love.
Did you keep any props from the movie itself?
No, I didn't keep any props.
Oh, well, they probably didn't want you stealing anything. But...
No, I'll make sure to get my hands on one.
Well, I guess you kept the mashed potatoes, but they're long gone at this point.
Stomach.
What about when you read, and then a lot of people in the horror community have got behind this, Oscar nominations for the movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard that. They got Oscar nominations?
Well, they haven't, but there's people had talked about wanting it to be up for Oscars, and then Damien actually submitted it to be eligible. So I wouldn't think it's happened, but I love the idea that there's people behind this.
That's so cool. I love that idea too. I'm on it.
Yeah, the horror community is behind this. They and Damien submitted it. So both, I think, possibly acting, the movie, and effects.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily, I don't know if it'll happen, but I love the idea that people are wanting it to happen.
Yeah, I love that idea too.
Yeah. So how different is it working on soap operas compared to working as in Terrifier?
That's such a good question. It's very, very, very different. In soap operas, it's like very prim and proper, and I have lines, and we're in like a chapel. And then Terrifier 2, we're like murdering people. I look like a crazy person. I have no lines. I'm making these crazy facial expressions. But it's like so fun to go from one to another.
Yeah.
So go watch General Hospital. I'm Charlotte Castine. You can see me on too.
And I've interviewed people from soaps, and they say it's, they don't necessarily get the respect they deserve, actors in soaps, because you have to learn a lot of lines, and do 5 days a week, especially
Yeah.
if you're on the show every time.
Yeah, I get my lines like a few days before we shoot, like 2 to 3 days before we shoot, and sometimes they're this like chunky paragraphs, but that's part of the fun. That's what I enjoy. I love doing that. It's so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Is that acting something you always wanted to do?
Yes, I got into acting about maybe 3, 4 years ago, and one of my friends was an actress, so she really inspired me, and then she started coaching me a little bit, and then I got an agent, and I went from there. I started doing commercials, and then, I started getting into TV and film, and that's how I got Terrifier too. So
Yeah.
one of my friends was an actress. She really.
Were there any movies or TV shows that you were into that inspired you? I know your friend said was into it, but were there any movies or anything that you grew up watching, like, this is something I might want to do someday?
I mean, not really. I was more into like theater. My school is a very artsy school, so we do a lot of like theater and stuff. And when I would get on stage, I'd be like, "This is like I love this like exhilarating feeling that I'm doing." So that's kind of what.
In a weird way, I would think the Terrifier 2 would be more theatrical work because it's like big and over the top.
Exactly. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, where the film is more, like close up, and this is more playing to the back, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was just trying to read these questions. Normally I have someone else here, so it's easier, but a lot of people really love the movie and love your performance.
Yes, I'm so happy that they do. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of people are wanting to see you in part 3.
Yeah. I hope I'm in part 3 too, but I'm not gonna say anything.
Right. And they also want you to see Terrifier at some point. But
yes, I want to see Terrifier 2. I think my mom will let me now that I've seen
all
Terrifier
right.
2.
All right. The chat is trying to convince your mom to let you watch. So the first convention is in January. How can people follow you to see, what conventions and what appearances you have coming up?
My Instagram is at Amelie McLain, so you can follow me on there. I try to update on there and post funny behind the scenes photos and stuff. So if you're into that stuff, go follow me on there.
Yeah, definitely. I assume you've gotten a lot more followers since Terrifier 2.
Yes, I definitely have. My account, blew up, and I love all the positive feedback that I'm getting. Like in my comment sections, everyone's just talking about how much they love my performance and how I'm their favorite character, and that just makes me feel so good. So keep doing that.
Yeah, definitely. So we don't know about Terrifier 3 yet, but are you working on any other films or projects currently?
I'm still doing General Hospital. I go out for there, every 2 to 3 months. So just keep on watching me on there, and the conventions. I'll be going to a lot of those in 2023, so you'll definitely see me there.
Yeah, and I saw because I think Damien and David used to do a lot of them, and I think they just did their first one since the movie came out, and they said like it was a huge turnout. I saw even pictures of the lines. It was giant lines to meet them.
Oh, that sounds so exciting. That just makes me want to go even more.
Yeah. I think you'll have a good time. And congratulations on the movie and the success. And
yeah, thank you so much. I'm definitely blown away by the success, but I'm so grateful for every one of you guys, all you horror fans.
yeah. And by the way, we just had Halloween. What did you do for Halloween?
I
guess a month ago.
I go with my best friend every year. So I did that this year. We were little farm animals. I was a bunny.
Oh, really?
He was a cow.
Well, that's very cute. I like that. And I know there's probably some this year, but I bet next year there'll even be more little pale girls.
Yeah, I saw a ton of people dressed up as little pale girl for Halloween. I loved seeing that. And yeah, hopefully next year there's some too.
And what is it about clowns, do you think, that do fascinate and scare people?
I think it's almost like the playfulness. It kind of reminds me of like something from my childhood. So like seeing that in like a creepy version kind of like freaks me out. It's almost like how playful they are. Honestly, even in the scene with Art in the costume shop where he's like playing around with the glasses and he honks a little, what's that, like a horn and everything?
Yeah.
That's kind of adds to the creepiness, you know, just like the playfulness of everything.
Manuel, you posted a behind the scenes picture of yourself in a bald cap recently on the set of Terrifier 2. What was that for, since you said it was your own hair in the film?
What? I posted a picture of myself in a...
Oh, I did that. That's that cap where they did your face.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun to do because that was like the first time I got there, and you know, we did this whole like face mold and the cap.
Yeah.
I see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's to protect your hair when you're getting the mold.
So get that stuff in my hair. That was fun. That was fun.
Was it fun? Not many people say getting the mold is fun, but
no, that was fun. That was so fun. I loved it.
Well, very good. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm glad your mom likes the movie.
Yeah.
Okay,
she was there with me every step of the way.
How about your grandma? She was hiding, but do you think she liked it? Yeah.
She liked it. Some of her friends were a little scared, but I think they all liked it.
Yeah.
They all congratulated me at the end.
Well, it was very good. You were great in it, and I'm really happy. I'm glad you did the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. I have had such a good time. You are a pleasure to talk to. And
well, thank you. You as well.
Too.
All right. Very good. Well, I'll talk to you again sometime.
All right. Let's do it.
Terrifier 3 or at a convention here.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you. See everybody later.
Bye. Thank everyone for watching. There's a lot of people here, a lot of questions, a lot of comments, a lot of people saying they love the movie. So if I didn't mention you by name, I'm sorry. We'll get to you next time. All right. So before we go here, I'm gonna play a music. You don't have to stay for this, but music of the month. We play music here on the shows weekly. So this week we have Miss Cherry Delight to play us out of the show. So I
will stay. I want to hear this.
Right. Hopefully I get this working correctly. All right, here we go.
It's not
That was so awesome. I loved it.
Oh, very cool. Thank you. And then, well, I'll
I
tell her.
love seeing David up there.
Yeah, and
me.
you'll be up on future ones. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
David's
thank you so
David's been
much.
on multiple times. He's a great interview.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, he's super sweet.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for letting
And
me
thanks
come
for
on.
staying on for the music.
Yeah, I loved it. Hope to see you in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I'll see you at a convention.
All right, perfect. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.